halfway through season 3, episode 12. I should have maybe have done this in episode 13 so that we are essentially over halfway, but it is what it is. Time is flying, the tea is still piping hot, you know me, and I figured it was the perfect moment to take a little breather and catch up. Today's episode, I'm spilling some behind the scenes vibes, a few life updates, because of course I am who I am, what I've learnt so far and what's still to come. Think of this as the voice note that I'd send to the group chat. It's just with a better microphone. Is it though? No, I'm kidding. So grab a coffee, a wine, or whatever's in reach. In my case, it's a Pepsi Max, and let's have a little mid-season moment together. So welcome back to everyone, and of course I want to say hello to all the new listeners. This has been the most craziest experience, and did I think it would last like it has? Absolutely not. I'm quite proud of this. I have just received a little bit of I requested it from Buzzsprout, who is the platform I use my statistics and things for the Danny Dot podcast. They came back and told me that, of course, the locations are a bit sketchy, but 43,000 downloads over the last 5 episodes is 75% to Oceania, which New Zealand audience, Australia, I don't really know who else that is. I feel like it could be parts of Indonesia. I've got a lot of friends that travel to Bali, and I just feel like they listen to me when they're on travels. I don't know. I do have a couple of friends in Asia right now, but that's a different kind of dynamic as well. So isn't that crazy? 43,000 downloads on the last 5 episodes. And to me, I look back at those five episodes and I laugh. I'm like, it was a whirlwind. I tried to be as constructive about what I was trying to talk about, but you know, when it's in your brain and it tries to come out on the microphone, it's like two different things. So I am a little bit proud of myself. That's, you know, a weird statistic to think about. 75% of my listeners are still relatively close to home. Of course, Europe is a very close second, so 40,000 downloads isn't that crazy, but I am part English, so born in England, but definitely don't claim to be from England anymore. I disowned the fact that my father is a bit of a twit, so if any of my family are listening from the Northern Hemisphere, sorry, not sorry. No, I'm joking. But no, there is obviously a lot to be proud of, and it's weird. Did I think I'd still be here in season 3? No. God, no. Have I had a lot to talk about? Absolutely. But no, thank you for coming along this ride with me. It has been a relatively interesting one, and I've certainly learnt a lot. It is difficult, still a little bit sketchy, talking for 28, 30 minutes by yourself in a one-sided conversation. But I look back on episode number 1 and I think, wow, you know, back when we had that horrible xylophone intro. That's not to say that the intro that I use now is any better. Maybe season 4 might be a little bit different. But no, I did have that I couldn't find my groove. So I kept changing things, and then I was just like, why am I doing this? Anyway, this is my sort of mid-season catch-up. I have been obviously talking about a lot of things and not looping back to different, updates, and I totally know that I'm doing it. So, yeah, look, apologies. So, first off the bat is the Alkeys Chief Hangover Officer. No one has been announced as the Chief Hangover Officer for Alkeys, which leads me to believe it was a little bit of a marketing ploy to get people to, jump on their socials, start following them, buy the hangover tablets. I don't even know. I'm a little embarrassed to say that I even applied for that stupid thing, because I hate those stupid contests and competitions where there is no outcome. They just drum up noise. It's so annoying and rude. So we have been trawling it for the past 5 weeks, just making sure that somebody got announced as a Chief Hangover Officer. And let me be the first to say, honestly, if they do announce someone in the next sort of 2 weeks, I'd be like, yes, kudos to them, they've done it. But I just don't see it happening. It's so weird. So if you see the tablets in the chemist warehouse around New Zealand or whatever, don't buy them. It's pissing me off that they haven't announced the dream job of being a hangover officer, because they definitely sold it to me and I think it was a bit of a have. Anyway, Where am I at with my travel? I'm actually going to put in my Instagram story on it, the Danny.pod, Instagram, a bit of a decision, right? So I want you to help me decide, should I book Asia or should I book Florida, America, singles cruise kind of thing, just because you know me, like I'm really scared to actually mention this right now, but I had like an epiphany, and I obviously keep reverting back to this one idea, which is not travel related, but I need to get this trip that's a solo trip out of my way, because this next step in my life is going to be kind of a big one that I'm very excited to do, but I know it's going to be quite time consuming. So the fog has lifted, the clarity's come back. I'm very excited to actually lay some tracks and do things properly and plan things. But, you know, future Danny in the next sort of 9 months has something very exciting up her sleeve that she's going to start putting it into action. And I need to get this trip out the way. So you guys get to decide, should I do Asia or should I do Florida, east side of America? I was trying to do the north, south, east, west thing in my head. East coast of America. So yeah, I know it sounds a little bit sketchy to say Florida, and I know there's going to be a lot of apprehension, like, why would you want to go there? But they also have a lot of really great cruises, so I'm pretty excited to maybe do that. Asia would be the cheap way to do it. You could get a lot done. You could see a lot of Asia. Florida, I feel like, would just be a little bit more fun, and it's a plan. That's not to say that I wouldn't choose to do a Kentucky through Asia, or like not maybe a Kentucky, but I have a friend that's just come back from Florida, and she did the cruise, and I said, oh, what was the cruise liner called? And she said, Viking. I'm old. So I know that you had to be a certain age to be on the Kentucky bus. But there is different travel planners that deal with the older people, which, in saying that, I am 38 in 2 weeks. It's very exciting. Do I have any extravagant plans like I have done? Absolutely not. I know. But I do have something really great planned. It's obviously, I don't know if I've mentioned it. I tried looking back over some transcripts, and I couldn't find it if I had actually mentioned it. But we are staying at a haunted hotel called the Vulcan, just outside of St. Bathans, which I think is like 2.5 hours from Cromwell. I have brought multiple ghost hunting equipment, so I'm adamant I'm going to find something. If you actually look at the Vulcan Hotel reviews and whatnot, people are quite funny. Apparently there's a ghost that's named a certain name. I forget it, but people do actually look for this ghost. So I think it was Doris. I can't remember. Anyway, that is something I am looking forward to because it's really random. My mum thinks I'm crazy. My brother doesn't want a bar of it, but it's weird. It's different. It's unusual. Of course, I'll come back and report to all ears how it went. That's if I make it. It is a weird layout, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous just because me and all my friends are staying there and they are bunk bedrooms. It wouldn't be ideal if I was in room number 1 and all my friends were down the hallway in room number 10. You know, you'd hope that a party of like 10 people could be closely sleeping together, like without being weird. But no, I don't know how the whole thing's going to play out. So we will see. What have I been up to lately? Well, I had a really great protect my peace kind of a weekend. It was great. It was going great until Sunday when I decided to take some friends over to Queenstown for a bit of a road trip to see my new build house at Hanley Farm. We ended up at a sports bar in Queenstown, and I love, love, love sports bars. They are top tier in Danny's eyes. So it goes sports bar, themed bar, ocean bar, you know, kind of thing. But I suppose you could say that a sports bar is a theme bar. But I don't know. I love like the whole, you know, sports on multiple TVs and fried food, taps of alcohol, whether it's beer, wine, cocktails. Like it's just extreme, and it reminds me of America. So I was in my absolute element, and it was very unplanned, which led me to today being a bit under the weather. I have tried to get back on the horse. Oh my God, I don't recommend Sunday day drinking. Oh my God, it's the worst. But no, it was really cool, and obviously I got to introduce my brother to some friends, so that's always a plus. I do enjoy that. He is reclusive at the best of times. So no, going over and showing them something that I've been talking about for the past 3 months and actually seeing it in person, just, I don't know, it connected all the dots. It was like 2 birds, 1 stone, just because my brother was there. And yeah, I don't know. It was a great day. So my mum is currently at home. She's just gone to Queenstown to do a few things though, but she has got the flu. I'm trying not to get it, but you know how it goes. I think it's just this extreme change of seasons. I actually went about 8 hours yesterday thinking, oh my gosh, I have to put socks on, and guess what? I did put socks on, but after work. I don't know why, it just kept going over my head to actually do it. It was driving me crazy. I was so busy. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, one of those mid-year things. Isn't it crazy to think I'm 38? Like, I'm almost 2 years off 40, and I've done so much. I need like a wet wipe and a vitamin C tablet. No. Anyway, I pulled a couple of questions off the Spotify and the fan mail, so we can go down that. What has been your favourite episode so far, and why? I still like that one that is trending for no reason, and I don't know why. 156,000 downloads of season 2, episode 48, When Your Age is Getting Serious But Your Life Isn't. August 20, 2024, I put that out, and I have no idea why that took off. The Danny Dot number 1 has 211,000 downloads. February 7, 2023, so 2 years ago. And then that's the second one. And I think, why? There's no reason for this. Still no one's been able to tell me if it's actually somewhere that I didn't know it was being played. I don't know. Which moment made you laugh, cringe, or scream that you... So a fun question. Which moment made you laugh, cringe, or scream? I think just the vulnerability of the season in general. It's actually been quite interesting. So we started season 3 February 11 this year. I'm now up to episode 12 by, the 6th of May, 2025. And I think... season 3 episode 1, Who's Bringing the Tea, when I had to be very honest about a few things that I didn't want to be, but it was easy enough just to talk about, gave me a bit of a cringe moment. Scream, when it ends fast but hits deep, was it love or just a lesson you needed to learn? Season 3 episode 8, so on the 8th of April. Yeah, that one sucked. I was like, oh, males are stupid. Love life is terrible. If this season was a relationship status, what would it be? Complicated? No. Single. Fucking single. My God, I'm just going to say it. I'm actually so content and happy at being single. This is just, it's like I've seen... I don't know, like just how clear things need to be. And there's nothing worse than the stupid fog and shit that goes on when you're trying to fall into a relationship and you get caught up in stuff and you put yourself second best. You know what? When you're in love, you're not supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to feel like you're the best thing on the planet, and you're supposed to put yourself first. So completely single if this season was a relationship status. Which episode hit you in the feels the most? Surely not. Just when I wasn't paying attention, this happened. So season 3, episode 7, when I thought that I met a bloke after all that shit that went down in January, I was so like, holy shit. This like really gave me the warm fuzzies and made me hit me in the feels. And then to find out that everything he told me was a lie makes me sick. Have your thoughts on love, dating, and self-worth changed since starting this season? Yes, 100%. I'm going back to just me. Honestly, that's all I'm thinking about. There is nothing else that I'm like focused on right now. Unfortunately, it has sort of brought me down a couple of levels in this space of like trust. And I look at men a little bit differently, but not all men. I just think, oh my God, I just can't I am in a very fragile state, so I probably am just being a dick. But yeah, my self-worth has gone a lot higher. I'm just not going to settle for any of this small town bullshit. There's a lot of narcissistic, dark, manipulative behavior that's just not for me. So my self-worth has skyrocketed, but my thoughts on relationships and love and dating, it's going to take a lot to put me back out there. Let's just say that. If you could title the season so far, what would you call it? Stubborn and single. No, I'm kidding. Would you swipe right on the season or leave it on red? Oh, fuck. I don't even know. So I would definitely swipe right on the season. Yeah, no deal. Or I actually would leave it on red as well. So podcast stats, some questions that we've been given. Oh, there's a question here that says Spotify rap style. Who's my top listener? Is it you? It's not me. I'm not listening to my own podcast. What episode title do you think people clicked on the most? Oh, well, it's got to be that silly, when your age is getting serious but your life isn't. I've already told you that. It's fine. If you've binged this season, the whole season so far, what's your ranking 1 to 10? These are questions. Are these questions to me or what's going on? Or there's a poll here. Do you listen on a walk or in bed or while dodging your responsibilities? I hope you guys aren't dodging your responsibilities while you're listening to me, but I'd question that. It's definitely something I have heard on the grapevine that people listen to me when they're doing chores on a Monday. So even though I release this on a Tuesday, a lot of people don't listen to it until the Monday following. It's so funny. And no, I have had a lot of feedback about where people are listening and, people are ranking it and saying that, you've come a long way and there's so much growth and I've learned so much and I'm definitely putting things into perspective. And do you know what was a really big topic that I've only just recently talked about? I can't remember if it was the previous episode or the one prior to that. But it was my deep dive on Snapchat. Oh my gosh, did I realize that you guys actually felt the same way about that damn app? Crazy. It still blows my mind to this day, but I've done a test run just because it stressed me out. So currently I have 95 ignored friend requests. And it's funny because I thought that it got a little bit wonky there for a minute. I thought that Snapchat was showing you people that you know that you should accept as friends. So when you push accept and you accept that person, it actually sends a friend request to them, which is the worst. So I made a friend unfriend me and then request me, and then I ignored their friend request and I watched where it went, which it went into this ignored friend bucket. And then I declined that friend request, and about 7 days later it came back and it said accept, and I was like, no. So it's Snapchat, they're playing us. But that was a big one where a lot of people were still confused, and obviously they've had ignored friend requests in the past and they're just wondering where things are ending up. So that's a bit of an interesting take on it. But this is what podcasts are all about, I suppose. It is small town shit. I am sharing and being very vulnerable, and there's been a few times where I'm like, shit, I forget I have a podcast, and there's, an event or something on and someone notices or recognizes me. I actually, unfortunately, I think I look a little bit cocky in the first season, and I brought some personalized number plate frames. So I have had people whilst driving start liking the page or message me on Spotify, I'm in the car behind you or something, and I'm like, okay, that was great, but what? So yeah, there is little perks to obviously having a podcast, and I do enjoy it. And it is exactly that, like just meeting people, and that's something I thrive on. So there is pros and cons to living in a small town. I don't feel like I do sometimes. It's just shit in a social sense that there is smaller venues to go to where everyone knows everyone. So you got to be a little bit careful. But no, it is definitely happening in the background that makes me feel really warm and fuzzy to keep doing this, I suppose. Anyway, just food for thought. But yeah, what else has been going on mid-season? I don't know. I just got to start forward thinking. I've got my cousin's my cousin's wedding in 2.5 months in Gold Coast. So that's a compulsory flight that I have to book, and I have not planned the return date just because, I don't know, I feel like I want to stay a little bit longer just because my family is all coming together for this, and I'm very excited. So we will settle in and do a bit of a hiatus on the Gold Coast. So that's in August. And what else? Well, there's an air show on the Gold Coast that same weekend, which is probably why I'm elongating that trip. Your girl loves aviation, let's be honest. I just wanted to obviously reiterate that there is some interesting things coming up in the podcast space. So what comes next for the next 13 episodes of the season? I'm not going to change too much, obviously. No change to the format, length, or style. Will I be doing any mini-series ideas? Absolutely not. Don't know what that is. No, I do. There's micro podcasts that are like 10 minutes long. Nah, I feel like once a week is a great way for me just to engage and interact with everyone. And that way I can obviously have a lot happen in my life that I can talk about. It's not overwhelming. It does feel a little bit frazzly sometimes. I absolutely get that. So, honestly, I've got a couple of ideas for the next 13 episodes. So one would be a letter to the next version of me, a reflective journal sort of a style pod, closer on lessons and how much one can change. So I kind of feel like we could do an episode on love bombing. Obviously, I do want to do an episode on me being the drama. That's okay. I need to own my side of some chaos. It's all about not shaming myself, but having some growth, not guilt. So it is very important to understand, and I am very big on that. So we will drop into that sort of a tone. Do I want to talk about dating whilst lonely? What don't they tell you? I actually think the next 13 episodes need to be nothing to do with any of that shit. Like love, I just know. It's on the back burner. We're not thinking about it. Someone the other day asked me about my 12 grapes I did at New Year's under the table. Remember the Spanish tradition where I wrote 12 things down that I wanted to have happen in 2025? I looked at it on Monday, and I don't know why I picked it up, but it did sort of throw me off a little bit. Oh, there's so many things on that stupid list that are like, so it's worded wrong, and that's what bugs me because I don't want to change it, but I just think it could have been said differently to mean different things. And there's such a big, powerful impact. I saw a quote on Sunday about the universe. You guys, the universe isn't on a budget. So if you want to ask for something, stop being so small about it. And I feel like that list is a tiny drop in the pond of actually what I want in life. And I was so cringy. I was like, So anyway, there has been a couple of things that have happened. It just could have been said differently. Whether or not it's to do with the tradition or the universe or whatever, I don't know. It does just sort of, I don't know, falls on deaf ears a little bit. It's kind of like, when you think you want to ask the universe for like $1 million, but you kind of dumb it down to be like, it's okay, universe, you can just give me 1,000. Oh, no. You're worth so much more. Ask for the $1 million. But yeah, that list, it's like the small version of what I want in life. It's just so stupid. Do I think that the undenying love of a male comes from my male kitten that wasn't meant to be a male? I told my neighbour that the other day. I was catching up with at a cul-de-sac party, just like a street party. She was like, what the frig, Danny? And I said, why, do you not think that was a thing? And she said, no. Poe the kitten came into your life for other reasons than the fact that you wanted to be loved by a male. He just didn't stipulate what male, whether it was human or cat form. I don't really care anymore. I honestly don't want to have that type of shit in my life, so we're good. It did just make me laugh though. And everyone keeps bringing up the damn grapes, so I'm fine. We're fine. I feel like Ross from the Friends when he's holding that margarita and he's like, I'm fine. We're not fine. No, I am fine. And that's the difference here. Anyway, all right, fam. That is my mid-season catch-up. I have said all I wanted to say. Short, sweet, a little bit messy, very real. Thanks for hanging out with me and letting me ramble on about my life and whatever else this season is throwing my way. If you've been vibing with this podcast so far, don't forget to leave a review, share it with your favorite group chat, or slide into my DMs. I love hearing everyone's feedback and thoughts. Don't stress, more juicy episodes coming your way soon, and trust me, I don't want to say this, but I feel like I'm only getting started. 2025 is about to take off. Talk soon. Love ya. Bye.